guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another Halloween video, which is going to be top 2017 horror movies that are either out right now or coming out in conjunction to Halloween. I wanted to do this because it's just like an insight, and it's also nice to come back to like in the following years as to what was amazing at that time. Like, I was talking to my best friend about how in the future what is going to be our iconic films of our era, and I found it a very interesting concept, and I thought this would be a very good one to do for Halloween, with it being around horror and thriller movies. The first one I'm going to cheat on because I believe it came out in 2016, but the only reason why I'm popping it in this video because I've just recently done a slasher top slasher movies, and I forgot to put it in it, and it's one of my favourite ones, and I could kick myself, but I thought with it only being a year out, I'm sure I can include it. And this is Hush. Now this is, I believe, a Netflix original film, so it is on Netflix now. You can watch it anytime, and the reason why I wanted to pop this in here because it is such an amazing movie that I've never seen done before. Because basically a lady that has a hearing impairment is living in a kind of wooded, secluded area alone. Basically, she has a neighbour not too far from her, but it is quite a distance. And basically the film follows her, and this is when it gets interesting because it gets straight into there very quickly, because a guy appears at the door who he believes I can have fun with her in terms of trying to scare her to death, knowing she can't hear him, and he thought this is going to be an amazing chase. You don't get to know the story of who this guy is and how long he's been doing, because he is a killer. He suddenly just turns up here and decides this is a fun way to do what he wants to do. So it's basically cat and mouse as to how can she get out. Is there any way she can find a way to escape the situation? But also with her having a bit of a disadvantage with not being able to hear him, you have such like nail-biting moments because he's so close to her but she doesn't know. And honestly, I wanted to put this in here because I've never seen a horror film done as well and as tense as that, and you really need to go see it. Honestly, not go see it, well, stay at home and cuddle with a blanket and watch it. Honestly, it is such a good horror film. It is, there's not much gore in it, it's just a classic when you want a horror film that you know you're going to jump out your skin at, but also like be holding your breath for. It's an amazing one for that. So for my next film is also a Netflix original movie, which is known as Death Note. I know this is an anime series. I've never watched anime before, so I didn't really know the premise of it at the time of watching it. I've only recently just watched it, so it's etched in my brain, and I really enjoyed it. So don't be put off by the reviews online, because I thought, oh, is it just because they had really high expectations because they love the anime series so much? Maybe so, but I believed it was such a good movie. And basically it follows, he doesn't have a stereotypical platform at school, but he is at high school, and out of the blue a book falls from the sky, and it has it says Death Note on it. He just picks it up, not thinking much of it, and he ends up having to go to detention one day, and he has it in his bag and he thinks to go have a look at it. And basically what follows is a whole path of destruction, because with this book is a demon attached to it, and this demon basically says to this poor guy that if you write any name in this book, they will die how you want them to. So it's up to him if he wants to be part of it, and he basically tries it out, finds a thrill in it of sorts, and ends up going on a crusade of trying to do the right thing and going after the bad people in the world. But it turns out you can't go and be God in that way with that kind of thing. And the FBI tries to catch up to him, and there is an epic chase in that film between the main protagonist and one of the men trying to catch him out. So basically it's a very good film. It is horror, it's like thriller, it's very interesting to think, if you were given that kind of power, what would you do with it, or would you give it to someone else? And I found it a very interesting story to get lost in. I found it very intriguing. The next film, I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but I had the pleasure of watching it, and I think it will always be stuck in my mind because it was such a good movie, known as 47 Meters Down. What people don't know about this one is it's just got a big theatrical release in the cinemas, but it was originally out on DVD, which I found amazing because they already made the movie. And with the success of In the Shallows with Blake Lively, that was an amazing film as well, but I feel like this topped it just a tad. And yes, it was originally out on DVD, and with the success of The Shallows they decided to take it back off the shelves and bring it out as a huge theatrical release. But I found so amazing within this movie is how lifelike everything is, and they didn't have the huge budget, and that's what I think makes it so special. Basically, if you've not heard much about this one, two girls meet these guys at a bar one night while they're on holiday, and they say, would you like to come do some shark diving the following day? They find it a fun experience. That's just something that they wouldn't get to do ever again, so they of course said yes. And when they get onto the boat to go out to sea, they start to notice little signs that make them have doubts in it, because the cage doesn't look very secure. The men don't seem to know much about what they're doing. There is laws when it comes to doing shark diving, and they don't seem to be following them. And of course these poor girls still went through with it, because of course, I don't know, they didn't want to be rude and say no, and they've just brought them out there for nothing. But of course they go down, and the most scariest, heart-wrenching thing could happen. The cable of the shark tank breaks, and they end up being at the bottom of the ocean with these sharks prowling them. And it's basically all about how can they get out of there. They all have so much amount of air left in their tanks, oxygen tanks. One of the girls is really injured, so of course with the shark speed around and with her actually bleeding, that's not going to help a situation. So it ends up being a very edge of your seat, so much drama. I think the fact that with this and The Shallows is, with The Shallows you know you were a little bit safe because you had a little bit of land, but with these guys being in constant water, oh, you just don't know when these sharks are going to attack, or they're not safe in any capacity. And I find it's such a you can't take your eyes off the screen film. Honestly, you need to see this, especially for Halloween. I find it would be an amazing one for you. The next one I haven't seen yet. Well, there's a couple I haven't seen yet, but I feel from the trailers, like a vibe, it'll be a very good one, and that is Polaroid. What I can see from this, that a young girl, I don't know if she's in high school or college, she gets a vintage camera, and basically, like you would do, it's very pretty. It's like a Polaroid camera. She's taking pictures of all her friends with it, doing this stuff. Maybe she's in photography and that's why she's so into it. But then sadly, everyone she takes a picture with, turns out something is then attached to them. I don't know if it's a spirit or some type of malevolent being that is associated with it, but they tend to be stuck in a situation where they are hunting this down, figuring out where this camera come from and how can they sort it so none of them be in harm's way of sorts. It was a very interesting film. I'll leave like the details to all the films down below and the trailers for you, so then you can get a vibe of if you'd like them or not. I'm not sure when that comes out. I'll pop it at the bottom here when it comes out. We then have Happy Death Day. I want to say this is coming out around November, October time, and this looks like a Groundhog Day horror of sorts, because she kind of wakes up your day as you do, goes through her normal normal everyday life, and turns out that night someone has a vendetta to kill her. But then when she is killed, she wakes up at the beginning of that day again, and she's trying to figure out how this happens for a start, and she's trying to overcome this killer every day and finding new ways to either get one up on the killer or figure out who the killer is before they try and make their move. And it was a very interesting horror, if I have to say, because I don't think I've heard many things being done like that way before in a little bit of time travel. But I want to know like why this keeps happening to her, why she's been able to have a game over, game restart over again. I find that very intriguing. And yeah, that sounds a really good one, so let me know if you guys see that one. Of course, the huge horror film I feel of this year is It. I really was intrigued, but then just last week I watched It, the original TV series, and now I'm super excited because I didn't really know the premise of the It story, and now I'm really intrigued to see what these guys do, because from what I know, I feel they are trying to put a very modern twist on it, but also include things that wasn't included in the original film, which I like when they do that, because it helps you see it in a different perspective of sorts. And I'm very excited now that I've seen the TV series. I think just looking at the pictures and the trailer and the people that have worked on it have said it's been such a blast, and I'm very intrigued by it, and I really want to see how it goes. And if any of you guys have been to see it, please let me know what it was like, because I don't think I'll be able to go to the cinemas to see it, which I'm very sad about. But when it does come out, I'll hopefully find a way to watch it, because I really want to see how it goes. And my last film, I believe that will be very big when it does come out. It looks like the Gone Girl of 2017, basically, named as The Snowman, which looks like a crime adaptation of a book, which I haven't heard of the book series before this, and I think I'm intrigued about reading it. Essentially, a serial killer is going around with the name The Snowman, and the reason why he is named this because of how he leaves his victims in a very particular way that seems very disturbing and calculated. And he two detectives are on the hunt for him in this little snowy town, and it looks like a very intriguing cat and mouse game again of, are they going to be able to find him? Is he going to trick them too much? And then I believe he knows they're onto them and tries to psych them out by going after them. And it looks a very intriguing thriller, I have to say. I love like a thriller that it's a whodunit and a mystery behind it, and is there a reasoning for what they're doing, and a very intriguing film. Oh, I forgot about one more film I recently watched called Don't Hang Up. I believe this has only just came out, and it is very like Scream. It's a very modern take on Scream, I have to say, and it follows a group of young guys that find it fun to prank nearabouts everybody, but particularly I find how this could happen very much so, because one lady they do prank at the beginning of the film. I find they must do it to quite a few women. They pretend to be cops and say someone's in the house, and they have to try and hide themselves somewhere secure. We're going to try and come in and help you. And bless this lady says she has a daughter next door, and next door to her, and she really wants to get her and keep her safe with her. But when they say they're prank calling her, and I find that so horrible to think that, and they found it hilarious. And I could see how that could happen. Like, some people have this strange mind that this is fun, and basically these lads have their comeuppance because a man believes, I don't know who, if you had heard of, because they post it online, so a lot of people, they get quite a lot of fan bases and interaction, and because they get that fan base, this guy was able to find where they live, who they are, what they do for a living, what their parents' names are, where they live, and he believes that this is enough, like this needs to stop. So basically you're following two lads in the house whilst this guy's trying to get in contact with them and trying to psych them out, and it's very, like, it plays with your mind because you do feel bad for these guys in this situation where it's been twisted and put on them, but in a really real life situation where people are getting hurt rather than opposed to pranking it. And I find it very coming of age story, and it kind of puts things in perspective what actions can do to people, and it had one of the best endings I've seen in a horror movie in a very long time, because I hate when a horror movie has this kind of bad ending and you don't understand why they did that or what was the whole point in this. But this has a point, and it's very, very interesting to see it. And let me know if you guys see that one. I found that a very interesting horror movie actually, and I've not heard many people talk about it, so definitely have a little look at that one because I found it very interesting and a very realistic take on a horror film for the Instagram age of sorts. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like any other Halloween inspired videos, feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you join this channel if you're new, and if any of you guys have seen these movies or heard of any more that you think I might be interested in, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And I really hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!